Okay, so welcome to the first video of my Excel advice. We're going to do little short, little 5-10 minute videos on just some really cool, really useful functions of Excel, maybe access, maybe some other things. I call it Excel advice, but it might end up being Office advice. So the first one for today, we're going to do exact match. This is part one of VLOOKUPs, the exact match. It's probably one of the most common VLOOKUP formulas you're going to do. So I put together a really simple little table, a little bit of information about a couple people from a fake company. So just small. So the VLOOKUP basically is a vertical lookup. That's what VLOOKUP stands for. There's other kinds of lookups, horizontal lookups and all lookups, but VLOOKUP is the most common lookup you're going to do. So we got like names here: Alicia, Joe, Susan. We got departments, title, pay, just some pretty normal stuff for a little table to have in an office setting. So your boss comes to me and says, I want to know what all the information about Susan and John. So, I want to know their name, department, title, and pay. So let's imagine that this list is, maybe there's 300 employees in the company or something, and you could sort and maybe try and find them that way, but honestly this is a much faster way to do it. So let's copy this. I'm just going to do a little thing over here. It's not going to be pretty, but just for the purpose of this video, we're just showing you how VLOOKUPs actually work. So I want to find Alicia and what did I say? John? Maybe I said John. Yeah. So, with this example, I am going to show some of the pitfalls of VLOOKUP as well, especially exact match. If you notice, there are two Alicias in here. Maybe I won't start with that. Maybe I'll start with Joe. Let's just do Joe and John first. Let's start with something very clear. So, in a department, let's find the department first. Equals VLOOKUP, lookup value. So, I want to look up Joe. That's my lookup value. I'm trying to find information about Joe. Alright, so there I put in my comma to go to the next thing. And Excel's got this cool little IntelliSense thing, which actually kind of gives you little bits of hints on what to do. And if you click on it, like click on VLOOKUP, it'll actually bring you to a help file and kind of do what I'm doing here too. And it'll actually show you how to do these things as well. So Excel's pretty awesome about a lot of stuff. So I want to look up a table array. Well, that's basically where's the data that I want to find Joe. So I know my table array is here. And since I'm only looking up the department, it saves processing power to only look up the cells that you want. So when you're building your table array, one thing you have to keep in mind is the lookup value, Joe, is the leftmost column. So I'm looking up the name. It has to be in the leftmost column because it counts columns from 1, 2, 3, 4 when it does its VLOOKUP. This is a vertical lookup, but the column index number, it tells you what data to return. So that's the next thing. This is the table. This is the data I want to look up. So I've got my array. Now it's asking me, what's the column index number? Well, that's the column number that I want to return. And it's not the A or B. It's nothing to do with these things. It's just in your table, the leftmost column is column 1. And then it's an integer from then on. So 1, 2. I want it to return column 2 when it finds the name Joe. So the next part is exact match. Now we'll go over a approximate match in another video. There are really cool places where you can use it, but the most common thing with VLOOKUP is an exact match. I want to pull just the information from Joe. So you can either click this and put in the word false, or if you're like me, booleans are 1s and 0s in Excel. So I prefer to do 0 because I know 0 is false. And you know what? It makes it smaller for me. I prefer little optimizations where I can. If you want it to be true, you put in a 1. But if you're more comfortable with it at the beginning, you can just put in the words as well. That way you know, because it is prompting you for words. But again, I'm going to use 0s and 1s because I've been using Excel since Excel 2000. So that's what I've done. Oh, I had to take a drink there. It's early in the morning. I'm thirsty. So there we go. And you'll see it was actually successful. And Joe is in the ops department. Yay! So it worked. And you can drag it down. This is the great thing about Excel. Why it's so powerful. If I drag it down, now I get John. And John is also in the ops department. And here's a cool thing. So it's a formula. So it's always auto updating unless you have it turned off. But again, we're not going to that part. So it's always auto updating. So if I type in Susan, it auto updates, and now it's Susan from finance. So we'll go back to John from ops, and let's fill out the other thing. So I'll go a little bit faster on this one. Equals Vlookup. I want to look up Joe. I want to build my table array, which is Joe, name, department. I want the title now, which is 3 columns over. If you look, I can't really use my mouse as I'm holding it. I'm pointing out the screen, which also doesn't fucking help. But if you look up there, you'll see it shows the amount of rows. It's 1,000,000 for 48,576 rows times 3C. The 3, it's 2C, 3C. It's actually telling you the number of columns from the left that you're selecting. So that makes it a little bit easier if you got a big subset of data and you're doing a big VLOOKUP. You don't have to freaking individually count all the rows with your hand. It will tell you the X, 7C, 8C, 9C. So 3C, that's what I want. So I built my table. I'm putting in the 3, and I want an exact match. So I'm putting either false or 0. Again, I prefer 0. And there we go. And I'll put in a pay now too, so I can show you another cool little optimization. So VLOOKUP, Joe, table array, I want the pay now, and it's 4 columns over, and exact match. So there we go. Oh, and don't forget to format. It's kind of a stickler. Like, I like to format money using the accounting sign. Because I was in finance for a very long time. We prefer the accounting. There's also a currency, but yeah, generally accountants like, finance people love the accounting one. That's why this is actually the default, not currency anymore. No one really uses currency anymore. Only people who don't know how to use Excel use currency these days. So now that I've got those 2 in, you can actually multi-highlight these and, drag this down, and it'll drag the formulas down automatically. And you see it actually updates the excuse me, the lookup value automatically. It'll actually update it. So Excel's smart enough to know, like, I could see that you're pointing at this exact same row over here. Well, you drag it down. I'm assuming you want to look at this row here. And it matches. So, and the cool thing is, I can do it again. Susan. And there it goes. It would auto-update everything. And the one thing about VLOOKUPs is it's case insensitive. So I can put in Susan all lowercase and it will still find it. VLOOKUPs are case insensitive, which is sometimes a problem. But I'm not going to go into it on this video. So there we go. So now we're going to add on, we'll go back to John. That's what the original thing was, John. So we got Joe and John, and now your boss comes in and says, oh shit, I forgot to tell you, I also want Alicia from Ops. Okay. So this is where we're going to get into our first little bit of trouble. Alicia. And this is the cool thing. Look, I can do this. And I can either click this little draggy down thingy. I can drag it down. Or if you're like me, you use your keyboard quite a bit more than you use your mouse. I just hit Control-Z to undo that. So one thing I like to do with formulas is you can select this row and then select this row. And hold down the Control button and hit the D button. And that means Control down, and it'll actually copy everything from here down. And since these are formulas, it copies the formulas, not the data. So, okay, your boss said I was looking for Alicia from finance. Well, here's where we get to the problem of VLOOKUPs. VLOOKUPs are exact match on the first thing that they find in the subset of data you're looking at. So Alicia is actually the first Alicia here from finance. For some reason, this company decided not to use last names. So we got a problem. And this is where you have to understand your data. You have to understand in a VLOOKUP exact match, what you're looking for has to be unique. It has to be unique. Otherwise, there's two Alicias in here, and your boss wanted ops, but you're finding finance. If you go and present this to your boss, he's going to get upset and go, hey, this is Alicia from finance. I didn't want Alicia, or maybe it's Alicia. Maybe I'm pronouncing that wrong this whole time. Alicia from ops, not finance. What the hell? And then you look like a dip, but it's somewhat, you could almost say, well, it's not my fault. What the hell? I'm not going to get into the way to do a double. This is not always a problem. There's a way you can do a lookup on multiple things, but it's not in a VLOOKUP. We will do that probably many videos away from here. That's an index match, and that gets really complicated very fast. So we're gonna lube you into this with VLOOKUPs. So yeah, Alicia from ops. So what do you do? I mean, well, one thing you do is go back to your people and be like, look, I need last names or something. This is ridiculous. I need the full name to make these things unique. So I mean, I'm just gonna throw in a couple little things and watch what's gonna happen over here. Now it's gonna look and go, oh, this one no longer matches, so then it goes and finds this one. But we need to put in last names for everybody, so I'm just gonna put like random. So there's our first error. If there's an error and it can't find Alicia in here anywhere, I'm just gonna continue to call this woman Alicia. Then you get these little pound NAs. This means the formula could not find Alicia anywhere because this is an exact match, so it has to exactly match all the characters in it, including spaces. So this is what you expect to see when it can't find anything. So I'm going to continue to put in I'm just going to put in last name, random letters, B, D, T, I don't know what. Well, let's do one funny, X, Joe X, I don't know. So now nothing's getting found because we just updated all of our data and we need more exact matches. So you can do this where you can copy and paste. What was it, John D? Copy and paste, and now everything's coming back. So now I want Alicia V, who was in ops. So there. Now you've been able to get everything for your boss that he wanted. You got all, Joe, John, and Alicia all from ops. Here's their title and their pay. And you're good to go. So that's pretty much the end of the VLOOKUP exact match. I'm not sure what the next video will be. Maybe we'll do some error handling. I think that would be good. Maybe we'll do some more VLOOKUPs. Maybe we'll do the VLOOK approximate match next. But yeah, that's pretty much the basics of VLOOKUPs. I kept it pretty simple to keep it pretty short. But yeah, if you have any questions or anything like that, let me know. All right, cool. Bye.